Hey, what's going on, everybody? It's Coach Matt here at EliteThrowsCoaching.com, Primal Athlete Training Center here in Cranston, Rhode Island. Coming to you today to talk about week 2 of our summer online training team. This is the second week of the workout, which is following that conjugate style programming, the conjugate method. Last week during week 1, you can see that it was much different from what we've had you do before. It's different because, number one, you got to choose the exercises that you wanted to do based on either what you've known in the squat, bench press, and all the accessory movements, or more than likely you chose from the pool of exercises that I gave you. This week, for week 2, we're going to switch things up just a little bit. Now, what we mean by that is this. On your max effort days, so your first day and your second day, your max effort lower body and your max effort upper body, we are going to change the main movement just a little bit. We're going to explain that in a second. Your accessory movements on your max effort lower body and your max effort upper body are going to stay exactly the same. But we're going to try to make it a little bit heavier, and more than likely you're going to do those for fewer repetitions. The goal is to try to do it for as many repetitions, but if we increase weight, typically the repetitions might decrease a little bit as well. On your dynamic effort days, on your speed days, the main movement is going to stay exactly the same as what you did last week, but the weight will be slightly heavier. We're going to explain that in the workout as well. And the accessory movements on your speed days are going to stay exactly the same, but again, you're going to try to improve one quality about those lifts. You're either going to do the same amount of weight for more repetitions, or you're going to do the more weight for less repetitions, similar to what you did on your first and second day. So that's all going to be written down. That's all going to be explained in the email that you received from me on Sunday night, along with this video and along with the sprinting and conditioning and med ball routines and what you need to do in the throwing circles this week. All right. Now, to go back and explain what we mean, what may be the most difficult thing or the most confusing thing for people to understand about the conjugate method is why the max effort movements change on a weekly basis. The reason for that is because we are going with all-out effort. We're going, as it says, with maximum effort every single time we get in the gym on these max effort days. So we can't assume that if we just keep the same movement every single week, that magically we're just going to keep being able to use heavier and heavier weight. It's just not the way it is. If you squatted 315 for a heavy max single last week, you're not just going to put the bar on your back this week and magically squat 325. And then next week magically squat 335. Your body just does not work that way. We need to change the exercise up just a little bit to make sure that we're still progressing this, to make sure that there's still a little bit of improvement being seen every week. So for certain exercises that you did last week, for example being a back squat, just your basic back squat. Last week you worked up to a heavy single. This week try working to a heavy double. So you can either try to go about 5 or 10 pounds less than you did last week and try to get that for 2, or you can just start off and work your way up using some good smaller jumps to work up to that heavy set of 2. If you did something last week like a box squat and you worked up to say 315 pounds to a box that was 16 inches tall, this week try to use the same amount of weight and try to work up to a box that's maybe 14 inches tall. So vary the box height. Same amount of weight, but you're changing the height of the box. If you're keeping the same exercise, try to change the amount of weight that you do. Try to change the amount of repetitions that you do. slight changes. You don't want to go from doing, say, a box squat to a, pause squat. Those are a little bit too different for what we're trying to accomplish here. Now keep in mind, for those of you that are watching this that know the conjugate system as it has been explained by guys like Louis Simmons and AJ Roberts and all the other guys who have come out of Westside and have gone on to teach, the CrossFit conjugate certifications, the Westside barbell certifications. The guys out there, Matt Wenning's another one who really talks about conjugate programming quite a bit. You know that they do vary and they do get crazy with their variations and they do change widely from week to week. That's not necessarily what we're trying to accomplish here. We are changing the main movement, but just slightly. We don't want to go that far off the path. We want to stay similar for these first 3 weeks so that we can set records, kind of have an idea of what we're doing so we're not just assuming or guessing as we go through the workout. Okay? Your dynamic movements, your dynamic main movements, those are going to increase in weight just a little bit. So we're going to add anywhere from 5 to 10% onto what you did last week. So say last week you squatted 150 and you did 150 for the amount of sets and the amount of reps prescribed. I think it was 12 sets of 2. This week you were going to add about another 5 to 10%. So we're going to go up to about 160, 165, and we're going to try to do that again, 12 sets of 2. Now, again, as you read in the workout last week, there is a little bit more than that. We don't want to give everything away here on this video. We want to make sure people actually sign up to be a part of the team and get the full workout. Some of you commented last week it was basically a full book that I sent you because it was, I think, 11 or 12 pages long. Essentially, you're getting a chapter of a book every week explaining what to do. Your assistance movements on all 4 days are going to stay exactly the same. What I'd like for you to try to do is increase the weight, but keep the reps the same or similar. So last week, for example, say you did tricep press downs on a cable machine, and you did 60 pounds for 10, and then you did 60 pounds again for 10, and then you did 60 pounds again for 10, and then you did 70 pounds for 8. This week, try to do 70 maybe for 8 or 9, and then 70 maybe for 8 or 9, and then 70 maybe for like 7 or 8, and then 80 for like 6 or 7. So you're increasing the weight, but you're not drastically dropping the repetitions. You're trying to still get that 10 rep range, or whatever you picked last week, say it was 8 reps or maybe even 6 reps. You're trying to stay within that range while increasing the weight just a little bit. Body weight movements like pull-ups, dips, and things of that nature, obviously we're not going to be able to do too much to increase our body weight, so let's try to get an extra rep or 2 for every set. So again, this is all going to be explained in the workout that you receive. This video is just a little bit of an overview to give you an idea of how this is going to progress throughout this summer season. So make sure you guys, if you have not signed up yet to be a part of the online team, you need to get signed up right away. Make sure go to the link down below, EliteThrowsCoaching.com, click the tab at the top that says join the online team. This is week 2, but if you want to get started, what I will do is send out week 1 to you, and then on Sunday, send out week 2 so you've got everything. All right? Hope you guys have a great weekend. Hope you guys are hitting it hard. I know a lot of you said that you were having some difficulty and you were really pushing yourself harder than you had been in the past few months during the season. That's exactly what we want to see. We want you putting in as much effort on those max effort days as possible. We want you moving your squats as quickly as you possibly can on your dynamic days. We want you guys to go extremely, extremely hard in the weight room. That's how we're going to build strength. That's how we're going to push our bodies. That's how we're going to grow. Keep up the great work. Make sure to let me know on the private Facebook group if you have any questions, and I'll talk to you real soon.